All right, let's continue. So you were saying, what is data? So, and processed information. So to add, they said to add what? Sugar on what? On ice? That's what they say. To add sugar on ice, data. Okay, these are raw facts, figures, letters, symbols, characters, images that do not make sense to the user. That's data. Okay. What you have said is correct. Okay, but you need to be going into details. Okay. Until such a time that it is processed, it becomes now what? So what is information? Processed data to the user. Okay. So information is data that has been processed and it's meaningful to the user. Okay. If something is meaningful to you, then it becomes information. Okay. So So we're saying that information is data that has been processed and it's meaningful to the user. All right. So from the definition, we can also tell the main functions of the computer. What is the first function of the computer? How does data enter into the computer? Yeah, through input devices. So the first functionality of the computer is input data. Secondly, process. Okay. Thirdly, storage. Fourthly, output. Okay. So today we are going to talk about the processor itself. Okay. So from the input devices, which I don't have to repeat, do we all know input devices? Madam, can you mention at least 4 input devices? You don't know. Okay, for the sake of Yaha, can you mention 2? Used for what? Typing letters. So the first input device is a keyboard. So a keyboard is used to enter data into the computer processor. If you see the keyboard itself, okay, what type of data does it contain? Data. Yeah. So that's the type of data which it can allow you to input into the system. Okay, letters, numbers, symbols. Yeah. Another type of input device, the bola. What is the camera used for? Capturing what? Images and motion pictures, right? Another input device, microphone for capturing sound into the processor. Okay, barcode reader, scanners, all those are input devices. Now, once that data has been entered into the computer, it now goes to the processor. Okay, so the processor is also referred to as the CPU, Central Processing Unit. So the Central Processing Unit is like the brain of the computer, okay? So the brain has three sections, medulla, yeah, okay? And each of those parts, they perform a different functionality. Balance, subconscious activities is done by what? Subconscious activities are done by what? You know what subconscious activities are? Things that you don't control. You can't control your heart per se. Okay. Blinking of an eye, reacting to objects, for example, heat. Okay, you react to that, isn't it? When it's cold or what? The medulla is responsible for that. Yeah. Similar to a computer, it has two parts of the brain, or two parts of the CPU, namely control unit and arithmetic logical unit. Okay? Arithmetic logical unit. Control unit and arithmetic logical unit. And just underneath that, you have memory. Okay? You have memory. Right. Okay, so we said the CPU has two parts, namely the control unit, arithmetic logical unit. And then directly below it, you have the memory. Okay. So the control unit is responsible for all the activities that happens within the computer. All the activities are controlled by this control unit, i.e. scheduling of jobs, activities on a computer is done by the control unit. Allocation of memory is also done by the control unit. Okay. When you are using the computer, okay, any program that you open, it consumes a certain amount of memory. Okay. So what happens is a computer has a storage unit called the hard drive. Okay. When you install a software, most likely it will be stored on the hard drive. But when it's being executed by the processor, or when this computer is running that program, it's called from the hard drive and placed on the random access memory, RAM. Okay. From the RAM, that's when now the computer starts to execute that program. You are able to manipulate data or interact with that software whilst it's on RAM. Do you know the reason why the computer doesn't deal directly with the hard drive? Can any one of you remember? Okay. Not necessarily. Do we know why when the computer is executing programs, okay, it does not deal directly with the hard drive? I said that a program is stored in the computer hard drive, right? But during execution, it's code, that calling is called loading it. It's loaded on the random access memory. From there, that's when it starts executing. So I'm saying, do we know why it is so that it does not execute the program whilst it's on the hard drive?
I guess there are some that is not really, that he or she is not really going to save them for the data. Just use them at that point. So maybe
RAM.
You want to keep that data in a safe and what you have to. So maybe just to save space in that. That's why it's
Okay. Do you agree, sir? Do you agree? Debs, do you agree? You don't even know. You seem to be a genius. Do you know?
Knowledge contains a lot of things. So I feel like the RAM is there to allow the user to be able to use the right program that he or she intended to avoid accessing some files that the user didn't.
Okay. All right. So the main reason why the computer has to fetch the data from the hard drive and then loads it on the random access memory, it's because the hard drive to access data takes time, slow. Okay. As you are likely saying, there are lots of files on it. Okay. So they are on the disk. Okay. For it to access where exactly that file is, it takes a lot of time. Okay. As such, it would not cope with what is known as the clock speed of a processor. A processor can process millions, thousands, hundreds of tasks in a nanosecond. Okay. Half, when you say one, half of that It does millions of tasks. Okay. Now, for it to be able to do that, it has to access that file very fast. Okay. That's why it is pressed on the RAM, the random access memory. Just because in the RAM, it is quicker and faster to access files. Okay. So that's the duty of the control unit. Okay. It will fetch a program where it is, then it will load it on the random access memory, and then it will start executing. Okay. So it executes one job after the other. Okay. That is why when you select a folder for music, it will not play all those music files at the same time. Okay. Instead, what does it do? It will create a playlist, isn't it? When this song finishes, then the other one starts. Similar to any activity or any other job that is given to the processor. Okay, it's given time. Okay. Whether there are a million tasks, all of them, they'll be given time. And because it's so fast, you don't even see it happening here. All you are seeing there is the program that I'm executing right now. But in the background, there are lots of activities that are happening. And each of the activity is given time. Okay? But it happens so fast that all you are seeing is the program that I've chosen to display there. Are we clear on the control unit? Okay. Controls all the activities that happens on the computer. Apart from that, you have well, before I go there, so apart from what I mentioned, the control unit directs the computer system to execute stored program instructions and also to communicate with other parts of the hardware. So what you will do is, if you select a sound file, okay, what it will do is it will call it from the hard drive, from the address where it is, and then it will place it on the random access memory. Then it will access what are the needs of this file. Okay. So it will analyze that this is a music file, for example, MP3. Okay. Do we have the drivers available to play this file? Then it will check, is the speaker available? Okay. Is the application software needed to play this file available? If they are, then it will start to play. If one of them is missing, then it will give you an error message that either speakers are not plugged in, okay, or application file to open this file is missing. Okay. So that's the duty of the control unit. Depending on what you're executing, they require hardware resources. So it's the duty of the control unit to coordinate all these activities. Are we clear on the control unit? Okay. And then you have the arithmetic logical unit. This is the other part of the processor. So for this one, it performs all the arithmetic operations and logical operations of a computer. What are these arithmetic operations? Umbuyo. What are the arithmetic operations that a computer is able to execute? Huh? Numbers. Sure. All right, so these are some of the arithmetic operations that a computer is able to execute: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay? Or any other equation that is associated with any arithmetic. But basically, those are the arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Now, the logical part is responsible for comparisons. Evaluates conditions, makes comparison, compare numbers, letters, and special characters. Is this number greater than this number? Is this one less than this one? Is this equal to or greater than this one? That's the duty of the arithmetic logical unit. All right. So I gave that example, your brain deliberately, and when I was talking about subconscious activities, okay, the computer also does the same, okay. If I expose my computer to extreme temperatures, heated, or cold one beaded, all right, the processor, okay, through the many sensors that are on a computer, it will pick up that temperature, okay, and then it will adjust the way the fan should spin. Do we know what a fan is used for on a computer? It's for cooling the processor. Yeah. The processor, as it is executing programs, it generates heat. Okay. Yeah, that is why when you are doing hardcore things on your computer, okay, mavaka sound ka fan kama ambasopanga increase it. Yeah, similar to a car. Okay, if you drive it for too long and it's hot that day, you actually hear the fan spinning a lot. Yeah, so the computer is making all those comparisons. Okay, it will check its environment. Okay, if it's cool like this, you will not even hear the fan. At the moment I put it on my lap, okay, there's heat which I'm generating. It's also generating heat. Okay, then the fan starts to spin. Okay, or it slows down certain operations. Okay, so that the processor is not overloaded. If it's not overloaded, then it does not generate a lot of heat. Okay. Ologa kalisa bafoni yako, you're doing WhatsApp at the same time, you're on TikTok, Bwera Core, and what? Imamba utenda, isn't it? TikTok. Dresha, suma pezeka kwambiri pa TikTok. So, have you understood it? The parts of the computer, I mean the parts of the processor, control unit and arithmetic logical unit. Okay. Now we'll go into that other part when Magamba memory. Yeah, so on a computer there are several types of memory. One of it I told you is random access memory. Okay. So random access memory, this is temporary storage area for files that are being executed or are waiting to be executed. Okay. The higher the memory capacity, the more programs you can execute. The lower the capacity, the less the number of programs can be executed. Okay. Have you ever experienced a computer hanging? Or even your phone? The program is not responding. What has stopped working? Okay. Of course, those messages, they can, it's not only from memory. At times, it can be malvirus. Yeah, so when certain files are eaten, then it fails to execute that program. But if it was working it was working perfectly, but after opening a number of programs, now it becomes slow and then it says not responding, which means the RAM is overloaded. Okay. Worst case scenario, it starts dumping the memory. Have you ever encountered that? Blue screen. Huh? Blue screen on a computer. You're working and then you overload it with things, or it's doing a lot of things. Instead of crashing, it will go into what is called safe mode, and then it starts dumping memory because the screen becomes blue, and then there are some words that are written there dumping memory, and then it shows you percentage of how much it's dumping. When you figure 100, then it restarts itself. Okay. Pafoni. Okay. Phone yako ikakhala kuti memory yake ndiyochepa. Okay. Zitopezi kuti I'm doing certain things, ukubwera call, kuma call ija kumamva kuti ukulira, but then I can't see anything. Okay. After maybe 15 seconds, that's when it pops up with the Gracious is calling me. Okay. Kudiso ndiyanke, when I click on the button, it takes a bit of a delay, and then you're able to talk. I know sim I use my iPhone. Who in the phone ya bwino? Huh? Yeah, so for example, if you're using an iPhone, iPhone imakandi processor yamphamvu and also memory yake so imakhala ikulu, let's say 4 GB above. Okay, so you don't normally experience those things, kudukujama, janjani, being slow and whatnot. Yeah, okay, it all depends on what you do, the applications that are running there. Komano, obviously, that if you have Instagram there, you have Facebook, those, they demand a lot of processing power. China yili just you makandi my videos and my pictures 1B. Yeah, so yeah, 6 is fine. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, of course, akuma RAM ndio mapangiso tizi. Okay, graphics card we just the image imaoneka very basic kakauti graphics card yo memory yake ndio jepa. Okay, but then if you have RAM buno you don't experience kudu mapanga judging the images. Okay, that is if you're playing online, right? Or even if you're playing offline. Okay. Now, on this memory, right? It's also divided into two. Okay. So there's a specific unit called register. Okay. So we're saying that a register is a special purpose, high-speed temporary storage located in the CPU. Okay. The Makara RAM, right? Then from there, a Makano register, which is located within the CPU. So it also has two parts. You have instruction register and data register. Of course, when you dismantle the computer, okay, they are very tiny. They are within that silicon chip, processor. Okay, unless we have hasula zeni ndo utaona oti ndi ake. Afuna one ma register. Okay, yeah. So that one has two parts. You have the instruction register and the data register. Instruction register will hold instructions currently being executed. Have you noticed, any application software, but I don't think you have paid attention to it. Mufoda mujet, usegwele se Word kapena Excel. Okay, it creates a duplicate copy. Okay, kama ngobwera temporary, koma kamene kaja kama kawuli kali mujani muramu. Okay, that's the one which is being executed. Okay, so it is held on the instruction register. Okay, so a program is a set of instructions that tells the computer hardware what to do. Okay, so any file that you open, it will call a program that will execute it. So it will be performing instructions. So these instructions are held on that instruction register. That is why anything that you do on a computer is recorded. Do you know that? Yeah. Even on your phone, it's recorded. Okay, so you just go on these registers. It will tell you all the log sheet, what you were doing. Mama. Okay. Okay. Mama, what time you press the power button? From the power button, what is it that you were doing and what not? Okay. So it keeps that audit trail. Apart from the instruction register, you have the data register, which holds data waiting to be processed and holds results from processing. Once the processor has finished executing whatever it was doing, then it will transfer it to the data register. Okay. From the data register, it goes into the RAM. Then thereafter, you are able to see whatever result that you are doing. Or might happen so fast. Okay. You know, any keystroke that you press on your computer, it has a set of instructions, you know that? And also in the computer itself, it's represented differently from what you are seeing here. For example, if I press A, okay, how would the computer interpret A? It does not understand A, B, C, D, what these letters you are seeing, it does not understand that. What language does a computer understand? Binary. So a computer understands ones and zeros. One stands for what? One stands for? That's all right. That's a very good attempt. Okay, so one stands for an on signal. Okay, zero stands for an off signal. So what a computer understands is on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. That's what it understands. It's you and me that understands this. But for us to understand this, in between, there is software, and in particular, system software, and in particular, operating system. Okay? That Android, that Windows 10 will now translate whatever is there into binary, ones and zeros. Okay? So if I press A, it will, in binary form, there's a formula for calculating that. It will be presented as 0101. Okay? If I press B, 0110. Okay? So that's how it works. Okay? So all those zeros and ones will be heard in that data register. Now the operating system will interpret that to you now into the language that you understand. Ukachuza German pa computer pako, the output, the information will be in German. If it's in English, it will be in English. Come at the back of it, zeros and ones. Okay? Anything that is on the queue to be processed, it's held on that data register. Okay? Maca queue. There is a queue. Yeah, so depending on the resources that are required, so the control unit will check. I think Sogolo will be talking, I don't know, Gatina Panga last time is that deadlock. Okay, I think Sogolo will take embed. A deadlock, it's a situation whereby a certain operation, operations are scrambling for resources. Okay, for example, job number A. Okay, job number A, you will printing resources, my speaker. Yeah, for example, it needs those, just for example. Okay, then also task number 2, which is also being executed. But for this task to complete it, it is awaiting for task number A to finish. So task ina na also mwine digira task number B. Zomwe ma resources amene mayuzao. Koma iso, it's being held by task number A. When that happens, then it forms what is known as a deadlock. The computer now doesn't know what to do. Okay? Chigatero de chimango hanga soban. What happens is, for example, folder muli file it kind of assignment. So you have opened that assignment. Okay. At the same time, you have put a command to delete that file. It will conflict. Okay. It's using, okay, your SAML file. So it will say that this device or Chan file is being used by another application. So it will give you an option. Do you want to close that application? Once you close it, then command jema pitirira yopanga delete it. Okay. So banga hang is usually zimabangika kuma printer magamanga. Okay. For a printer works on, is anyone who does accounting here? FIFO, first in, first out. Okay. So ikabwera eyambirira and it has access to my resources are printing. Okay. Ndega kauti chifao chija somehow it's corrupted and whatnot, it's failing to print. Going to head all those other processes. For now, also to finish, they will depend on iyo ambirira ekuti pange print and then others also start printing. So if you go to the register, printer, okay, you find all those files stuck. Okay. Then this Madam Office. 2 days isaku printer foila. Okay, so if you're an expert, you just go to this the register, you delete or you clear what is known as cache memory. Okay, so it will clear all the data that was being held in that register, and then you start afresh to print. Are we clear on the register? I forgot that it's the first the first day. Isamalize 2 hours yours, eh? Yeah, of course. Okay. We did practicals with you guys, eh? Did we? Is that Microsoft Office? Okay, so it's very important that when you start work, those are the day-to-day activities that you're doing. Also, in your 4th year, your dissertation, muzazifuna wambili those things, right? Yeah, I mean, there's another group there which was presenting recently. Some of them, most of them, it was horrible. Okay. And you wonder, what you in class, sitting mapuzi sana. Yeah, because there you have to, like, for example, there's a section whereby you have to insert my graph. After you have analyzed your data, you have to present it in graphs. Okay? The graph jaumena wachosa ngatumaiza ku Excel wachosa, you have to insert them uyani Word. If you are doing a conceptual framework, okay, you're supposed to put those diagrams there. And my page numbers, how to put an automated table of contents. Okay. Yeah, so of course tizambira is za internet, how you go about searching, not the searching that you do mugangopanga, then you kubweresera zinthu zambiri unnecessary things for you to find what you want, maybe takes ages. Okay. Sure. So let's continue. I'm planning just for 5 minutes, eh? Just for 5 minutes. All right, never storage, right? I told you there are several types of storages, right? One of it I gave was RAM, right? Okay, commercial RAM also falls under this category. You have secondary storage, memory registers. Yeah. Okay, not memory as such, but it should read primary memory. Okay. Primary storage and secondary storage. Secondary storage, this is data that will eventually be used for a long term, or it stores permanent data, or data that you keep for a very long time. Can you give any examples of this type of storage, secondary storage? Hard drive. So hard drive, when you write your assignment, okay, you can save it there. Your dissertation, you can save it there for years, okay? Yes. At the back of clouds, you still have the physical one, okay? So cloud storage, for example, Google, they have these supercomputers with massive storage, okay? They are connected on the internet through a distributed system. So all you see is the front page. You don't see which computer is storing your internet. Yeah, so you store your pictures, what are not, secondary storage. Okay, so there's cloud, hard drive, what else? Here, CDs, DVDs. Yeah. Deborah doesn't even know what it is. Deborah was born when? Yeah? Deborah was born 2005, eh? Yeah, so, okay. So, anyway, we'll finish off on that note. Eh? So, yeah, secondary storage is that one. Hold it. Then we have memory, data that will be used in the near future, temporarily, fast access than secondary storage. So that's primary memory or primary storage. Okay. Examples of that in the general RAM budget. RAM, PariRAM, then PariSO-ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. Read-only memory. There's RAM and ROM. Those are perhaps we'll look at it later on. The major ones are RAM and ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. ROM ndio bezeka when you are booting your machine, even without a hard drive or whatnot, it will show logo of that product. Can the HP on HP? After HP, then it takes you to the BIOS, which stands for Basic Input Output System. Okay. All those details that are contained on that BIOS are placed on this read-only memory. You cannot change anything on that. My factory settings, agent Hujo. Ngarinduya Safoni, this is a Huawei. It has my default settings. Huawei and what, okay? You cannot change those things. All right. More read-only memory. So,
there's some forms, fake forms. Okay, maybe it sounds like what do you make it show You're not maybe.
The what? Mhm. And no, what it means is putting a chip kamena na ikamene undora nakasinda. Muna nangweka ka iPhone or something. Okay. Well, let me stop the recording. Okay. These days, thieves, when they still like the old phone I was using, an Andy Bell, yeah. So what they do is they remove a chip kamene kama panga contain serial number ya phone, because every phone has a serial number, unique one, it. So even if you put another SIM card in there, it will still register that serial number, and you can easily be caught. So I hear Ulimadoro in again town him. If it's not gracious, I hear that Major Sajani got chipiko and the week again, and then that phone cannot be traced. Serial in my car, it's on the ROM, read-only memory, so you can't delete anything. The serial number? What?